Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Front Porch 2023. We had a little CES recap that I was not a part of, and that's okay, because I was not in Vegas.
Invited.
Yeah, I was not invited. But today, I am here with Julia, one of our editors, and Dane is...
Yeah, where'd he go?
Dane is supposed to be here. He's a mysterious man. He'll show up at some point, so we will we'll wait. Oh, Dane. Hello.
Hey, Ethan. Hey, Julia.
Hi, how's it
How
going?
are you?
Okay.
Wait, is this my hot water? Thanks.
Do we need to worry about ring race coming in? Or are we good?
Oh no. Oh my god.
I'd be more worried about that getting on somebody.
For all of our listeners and or watchers, some big news.
Last year, if we go way back to the beginning, to October 2022,
So not the beginning.
I had a little boy that was born.
Well, Dane, we're all very proud of you, and we're happy for you,
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Because Ezra
absolutely.
is so cute.
Oh my god, he's so cute.
He's something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Editor, can we throw up a picture of Ezra?
Wait, I'm gonna do like a
Yeah, look at him. Isn't he cute?
very, very cute.
Anyways,
Yes.
well, I brought you two on today because we are here to talk about things we cinephiles notice in movies that other people might not, and other various topics branching off from that.
Yeah.
Julia, this was originally your idea,
Yeah.
and it's a very good idea.
Oh, thanks.
Very
and
good
I am
idea.
very happy that we could finally
Yeah,
sit
no, I've
down
been
and
excited
talk
for this
about
one.
it.
Absolutely. No, this will be a fun time.
So to start off,
Uh-huh.
what have we been watching?
Should I start? Okay, I'm gonna start.
You should
So the other night I was like hanging out with friends, and we were talking about basically all the drama with like Ants and Bugs Life it being released at the same time, and I was like, I've never watched Ants, so I watched Ants that night for the first time. It was bonkers.
Let me tell you something, Julia.
What?
I was alive when
I
A
probably
Bug's Life
wasn't.
and Ants
I probably wasn't.
came out. You were not.
No.
You
no.
were not either, Ethan.
When
This
did Bugs Life come out?
This was 1998.
Oh,
I was
born.
definitely alive.
No, yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was born in 1998. Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, there was a huge rivalry
Yeah.
between
yeah.
the release of Ants and A Bug's Life.
I always heard about that, but
No, it was crazy.
because Ants, if I'm not mistaken, was DreamWorks'
Mm-hmm.
first animated.
I think 3D animated.
3D
Because they had
animated,
done
yeah.
Road to El Dorado and
That's
I think
right.
the Prince of Egypt movie. I believe if that's correct. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, the first 3D animated movie.
Yeah.
And this one was, when I saw it, it was more geared toward adults, where A Bug's Life
Here's
was
the thing.
more children.
That is what I kind of knew going in. But when my friends were like, "Oh, it has a couple of it has some adult humor in it," I was thinking Shrek, right? Shrek has a lot of adult humor. They literally swear several times in this movie. They actually will like I can't repeat unless you want me to bleep it out. But it's like they actually swear in this movie, and it's like and it's very inappropriate. It's a lot.
wow.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though. It's funny. It's like if the plot of B movie had like the animation of Jimmy Neutron. That's how I would explain Ants.
Wow, it's such a good way to put
Yeah,
it.
right? Yeah.
That's a very, very good
Yeah,
way
right?
to put it. But let me tell you, I lived through the controversy.
Oh, okay.
I lived through
Sure.
the rivalry.
Of course, of
Okay.
course.
I was in junior high, and it was like you were either Team Bug's Life or
Oh,
you were
okay.
Team
Oh,
Ants.
wow.
Interesting.
We got a veteran
Okay.
over here.
Of course.
And-
Who was on Team Ants? I think Bugs Life was. Here's an Ants was like so bad it's good, but Bugs Life is much better. Oh, I'm about
I
to.
kind of took you as an Ants guy.
Oh, have I broken your heart? I'm sorry.
Did you watch Ants? Was there a time where you watched animated movies?
Oh yeah, I thought you hated animated movies. What are you talking about?
There was a time where I did partake. I dabbled a little bit in animated films.
Okay, nice.
This will probably be a podcast for later as well, just to give you a little preview here.
Yeah.
That's fine. The lore expands.
Yes, yes.
But I did happen to see Ants in theaters.
What did you think when you saw it?
I thought it was pretty good. You had the voices of Woody Allen, Sylvester Stallone,
Yes, Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone.
very adult-oriented actors kind of
No, genuinely, yeah.
in this type of thing. So
It was definitely interesting. A very different tone than
Very
Bugs
different
Life,
tone.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like there is war, there is battle,
Yep.
there is bloodshed.
There's a lot of like Marxism.
Yeah, literally, it's
Tones
all like
in the
communism and
yep.
like capitalism. Like
Yep.
it's you haven't seen Ants at all, right?
No.
So it's probably just sounds like gibberish. But like,
I've just
it's, like,
always
a
seen
whole
clips
thing.
from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's it.
bonkers. It's bonkers.
Yeah, it's something.
It's something else. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been watching. I've also been watching Succession, which is really good so far.
nice.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that so far. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. I have been watching The Last of Us.
Oh my god, me too. Yeah, awesome. It lasts. Oh my god.
I've only seen the first episode though.
God, you're not ready for
I have not
episode
gotten
3.
past.
Oh my god, episode 3 is.
There's spoilers out there, and I'm
okay,
trying
I
to
won't say
avoid them.
anything, but oh my god, it's
So-
so good. It's so good.
Because over the weekend when it snowed and we were kind of hunkered in, that I kind of got caught up in a lot of my shows in that sense. Watched a movie called Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I've heard his
Denis
last.
Villeneuve.
That's the 10th pronunciation of his last name I've heard so far. Can we fact check how you say his last name?
We will
please?
fact check that and put that up on the screen.
I have
Just
to
gonna
know.
have the Google voice, like actually, you know,
yeah.
when you Google, like it'll like hit the play button and it's like Villeneuve or whatever the
Dude, Prisoners,
series.
and this is a little like preemptive because we're going to talk about it in a little bit. One of my favorite movies.
It is so good.
It's crazy.
It is fantastic, and it was shot by Sir Roger Deakins.
Yes, it was.
I didn't realize that until later on.
You can tell. You can tell when they shoot the outside stuff. You're like, yeah, that's him.
And the funny thing is, I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh, this looks like it could take place in West Michigan, like a
Yeah.
lot of the suburbs that they display in the movie.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha.
But it's just well acted, well executed, well shot, edge of your seat. I did not see that twist coming. So
Love a good twist.
Yeah.
That's fun. I should
Yeah.
check that one out.
yeah, Denis Villeneuve, definitely one of my
He never
favorite contemporary directors.
He never misses. I don't hate a single one of his movies.
Dune was a little underwhelming, but that's a topic for another time.
Sure. I understand that one.
But there's part 2 coming, so
Yes.
maybe he'll redeem himself.
Part 2 of that book's nuts. I finally watched The Town.
What's that one?
Ben Affleck.
That is a fantastic movie.
It was
really?
good. Liberty and I watched it when we were in Mascuda because it was just like on the hotel TV.
Did you almost fall asleep there?
Hmm?
Looked like you almost fell asleep. You were like,
I was thinking.
okay, gotcha. I swear it looked like you were
in
about to
general,
fall
I thought you were
asleep.
talking about in
No.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah, I was
never
like in Mascuda. I'm like, yes, I did sleep several times.
mind. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Okay. The Ben Affleck movie where they have like the nun masks and they like rob a bank,
It's good.
you know?
I've never heard of that. But
Oh,
that sounds
check it out.
interesting.
I vividly
Okay,
remember
got
when the
it.
trailer came out and I was like a wee lad and I was like, this looks stupid.
I think Jeremy Renner got an Oscar nom.
Dude, he was
that
crazy.
movie.
He's crazy in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's
That's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
It's a fantastic movie. I
Nice.
really enjoyed it when I saw it.
Okay, I should check it out. That's The Town. Okay.
What did you like about it? That's the thing.
What I didn't like about it was the pacing. I thought the
Really?
pacing was weird. Yeah, because it's
Okay.
like, oh, we're gonna go do this thing real quick, and then it's like, oh, well, that thing's over. Here's all the fallout from that, and then immediately hopping to the next thing type thing.
Interesting.
What I did like about it was the acting. I thought the cinematography was super interesting because it's like a lot of it's handheld
It
for
is.
like the most part, and it's almost
Yeah.
shot like documentary style. It has like a Jason Bourne look to it,
Right.
where it just feels like the cameraman is there with them,
Right.
like capturing everything.
Yeah.
I liked everyone's character motivations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that was strong and cool, and like the constant like cat and mouse game they're playing with the police.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it was
sounds really
good. It was
Yeah.
good.
That
Yeah,
sounds
I think you would
awesome.
like it.
Yeah, I feel like I would too. That sounds good.
And Ben Affleck is like hit or miss for me too, but
Right.
this like Argo. He did Argo. I think 10 years ago. And that was just got all the Oscar hype and Oscar buzz, and it was just kind of lackluster. But
Yeah.
the Town though is just a solid movie. solid script, solid performances.
Nice. That's awesome.
So as a director, I mean, he's got some good things. There's another movie he did called Gone Baby Gone. I have not seen it.
I haven't seen that.
But I hear
Gone
it's
Girl,
just
but I haven't seen Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Girl's a
movie.
good one too.
Yeah, Gone Girl's
Girl's
good.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. I made the mistake when I was like a teenager of like bringing my family to watch that one on our Sunday movie day.
Yeah.
Not very family friendly movie at all, but I was
No.
like, let's watch a thriller. The trailer looks cool, and it's like, oh god, it was a mistake, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Just not good in certain contexts.
Yes. Absolutely.
Speaking of things we notice in movies, the police deputy in that movie is Savoy in Cemetery Wind in Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Oh. I have no idea.
Not that
Me neither.
anyone cares.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about
No
Transformers
idea who that
either.
is.
That's all right.
Shia LaBeouf is in the first one. And
He's in the first 3.
Oh, okay, cool. Good
And
for
Megan
him.
Fox is in the first 2.
Of course.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes,
she
yes,
didn't
yes.
come back for the third one
No.
because of her.
Because they treated her terribly.
And then she said some things
Probably.
about Michael Bay.
Yeah,
that-
because
Probably.
they treated her terribly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a buddy of mine who worked on one of the Transformers movies.
Oh, cool.
I think it might have been 3 or 4. And Michael Bay, just being on set with him is kind of a scary experience.
Oh,
and
no.
my friend was telling me, even him as a PA, it's like if you hear over the radio that Michael Bay's coming in your direction, be busy doing something. Do not make eye contact
I
because
would say you can't even look at
he
him.
will
my God.
fire you if you make eye contact, no matter who you are.
Yikes.
Yeah, he's that type of
Oh, no.
a filmmaker.
Fun fact.
Fun fact for you there.
All right.
We are not sponsored by
Definitely
We are not sponsored by Michael Bay,
or
even a little
Hasbro or Transformers. That'd be kind of cool though.
but we do need sponsors
So many.
at
All
some
the
point, please.
sponsors, Yes.
Please.
All right. Now that we've gone on a lot of tangents,
So many.
let's get into it. Let's bring a little bit of structure into this.
Okay, I like structure.
Woohoo.
Before you two got into this industry, I don't know when that was. I have an idea. What were your favorite movies or favorite types of movies?
Yeah, I watched a lot of comedies. Like, I basically anything with Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell in it, I've probably watched a million times. Like, my family watched those all the time. We just had them. We're just watching them constantly in my house. Also, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but my mom was obsessed with M. Night Shyamalan, so we watched a lot of M. Night Shyamalan growing up. Like Lady in the Water, I have right here, and Signs, which I still
so
I think
good.
Signs still holds
Signs
up. I
is
love
so good.
Signs.
It explains a lot about your movie preferences that you watched a lot of M. Night.
Oh yeah, for sure. M. Night, and then Lady in the Water. What was the other one I was gonna mention? Sixth Sense I watched a little bit later. It's actually funny because I just mentioned Adam Sandler, but 51st Dates spoiled The Sixth Sense for me before I actually ended up watching The Sixth Sense because they watch it and they spoil the
God.
ending, and I was so upset when I was watching Sixth Sense. I'm like, oh god, I know how this ends, don't I? I'm so upset. This would have been so good, but it's still great.
You watched The Village?
Oh yeah, The Village. That was another one I almost
Yeah.
forgot that one. The Village is great. The Village is so good. I still watch that like every autumn. I really enjoy. It's a great autumn movie. It's a fun
It
time.
is, yeah. I should
Yeah.
do that more.
Yeah, basically like M. Night's like before M. Night got really bad. Those are like even some still. I feel a lot of nostalgia for those movies. So yeah.
Yeah, his first 3 for me are his like best ones.
Oh yeah,
Sixth
absolutely.
Sense,
Yep.
Unbreakable, and Signs.
Unbreakable is really good
Dude,
too.
Unbreakable
Yeah,
is good.
it's really
Unbreakable's good.
slow, but the ending makes it like all worth it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a good ending. It's so good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So before I got into this industry, and we may have touched upon this in previous podcasts, but some of my inspirations for wanting just to get into filmmaking in general, the number one reason was going to see a little film by the
There it
name
is.
of
Be careful.
Jurassic Park,
The one and only.
the one and only.
And we have the same copy. You said that's my copy, but you have. Oops, baby boss.
Yeah, we did not plan this.
No,
also.
I just honestly most of the DVDs I grabbed for like set deck. I was just like, I'm just gonna scoop up a bunch of my DVDs from home. But yeah,
This was the reason why I got into this.
yeah, Jurassic Park is pretty iconic. Yeah,
But it's everything about the film itself, from sound effects to the score to the visual effects.
yeah, baby fell over. Oh dear.
Here, Joanne. Keep going, Dan.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Boss baby's okay.
To the
saved him.
story, to the acting, to just everything about that film, I was like, I want to do this in some capacity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that was since that moment, since the seeing it in theaters as a kid, I was like, yes, like filmmaking in general, I just want to get into that. Just in the way it just emotionally makes you feel, I want to be a part of that. So that was kind of like the turning moment for me. And I was just a wee lad, and that stayed with me, you know, through high school, into college when I went to film school, post college, going out into the industry and working in the industry. That for me is why I got into this. Just all of those elements and how that can. I don't want to say manipulate your emotions, but the way movies just make you feel.
Feels like orchestrate your emotions almost.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know if that's a good way to put it, but like, for sure.
Orchestrating your emotions through moving images.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I was so young when I watched Jurassic Park for the first time that I was so used to CGI and stuff. So when I saw the behind the scenes and we saw like the animatronic, the robot dinosaurs, I like freaked out. I was like, where did they get these dinosaurs? I am so stressed out. Oh, no one told me dinosaurs were real. Oh my God, are we all gonna die? I was so little. I did not understand the concept of like not CGI. So anyway, that probably just gives away my Gen Z-ness.
yes,
that's
it
all
does.
right.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's cool. How about you, Ethan?
I was a big action adventure movie person. I still am. I still like them quite a bit because Lord of the Rings is still like top tier cinema. Yes. And when I was younger, my approach was I want to be an actor.
That's right.
So seeing, you know, Aragorn wield Narsil and stuff against the orc army, and Jack Sparrow fight Davy Jones on top of a ship mast and like a typhoon. I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be the one swinging the sword. And my dad took me to see Peter Jackson's King Kong in theaters.
Oh yeah.
And I was like 10. No, not even. I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
That is not a movie you see when you're 7 or 8. It's a horrifying movie.
Yeah,
that movie's terrifying. The bug pit scene is a good example. But just like, and that kind of rooted my preference for movies now, which is what we're about to talk about, which is like horror movies and thrillers and stuff that's a little bit darker. But yeah, when the first Transformers came out, I think that was like my peak interest in action movies. Seeing Blackout transform out of that Black Hawk helicopter for the very first time in theaters.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that ever. That first transformation in the Transformers movies in theaters is like a key point in cinematic history.
Absolutely. For me, it was the Tyrannosaurus Rex coming through the fence in Jurassic Park that
so
gave me that
great.
same
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, I kind of just touched on it. What are your favorite movies now?
Favorite movies now? Oh, Ethan.
If there is a
Oh,
change,
man.
you know, I know you've kind of branched out quite a bit.
My favorite movies now. Well, getting older, getting a little wiser, a little more seasoned. I find myself kind of steering away from the big special effects, CGI laden films, and finding myself more in the smaller, more intimate, more human types of films.
Yeah.
I am kind of the same way because I want to watch The Revenant. I want to watch Prisoners. I want to watch Blade Runner 2049.
Right.
And out of all the Harry Potter movies, I want to watch Deathly Hallows Part 1 because the cinematography is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's just the 3 of them. and it's like no CGI magic specialness is really going
That's
on.
a good point. Yeah, there isn't a lot of like crazy CGI in the
Yeah,
part
it's
one.
just
Yeah,
the
it's
three of
yeah.
them, and they're all struggling with like their emotions and their own inner turmoil and whatnot. And I always find that movie very, very interesting compared to the rest of them.
For
That's
sure.
cool.
Even though I like the rest of them a lot.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
So in the last year, I should say in 2022, the highest grossing film of the year was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that was my favorite movie of the year and one of my favorite films in the last 10 years, for that matter. And it's a movie you don't really see made anymore.
I've heard a lot about that. If you, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it feels very like old school blockbuster. I suppose.
Old school blockbuster. Just the story, the characters. You just don't see movies like that anymore. The formula itself is kind of something from the past. But to see a blockbuster kind of use that formula in today's day and age was kind of a breath of fresh air for me. And there was just a lot of human elements to it, like I was talking about earlier. Even though that the film has some special effects in it, a lot of it was shot practically. And I really appreciated that. And you take that in conjunction with the human element of the film. That's really what I find engaging nowadays. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a film that's heavy with special effects. But if the special effects aren't used as a tool to tell the story, then it's a pretty boring thing. And then there's a lot of it. These days especially, there's just a lot of content out there just CGI heavy without any sort of heart or any kind of meaning to it that people just eat up just because. So yeah.
What about you, Julia?
Well, I definitely don't watch as many, screwball comedies as I used to. I do still like comedies. I think my favorite comedy of like the last decade was probably Game Night. I still really that one was a really fun one. Yeah, that was a good one. But some other, some of my other favorite movies are generally a lot more serious. Arrival, favorite sci-fi of like past 10 years.
Denis Villeneuve.
Oh yeah, same director. Okay, nice. What else? Everything Everywhere All at Once, obviously more new, but The Farewell. Oh my God, that movie is devastating.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, that one is A24. It's, oh my God, it's so good. It's really sad, but it's really good. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I also watch a lot more horror than I used to. Like, I genuinely didn't watch Sixth Sense until I was like 16 because I was too scared to. I was like, no, I'm never gonna be a horror movie person, never. But I think what happened is when I got to film school. So when I got to film school, I like originally wanted to focus on screenwriting. I was like practicing screenwriting and stuff, but it was really difficult for me to write anything that I knew I could, that I didn't know that I could make, like, for my classes or whatever, but also just in general. And horror, like low budget horror is like a really, conceivable thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, horror can really get away with like low budget and like, like showing less to build suspense,
Yeah.
So I was watching a lot of horror movies during college. Like Unsing was really fun, and like obviously Hereditary. I love Hereditary. What was a classic one? The Exorcist. I've seen The Exorcist. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A lot of horror movies. Yeah, so I'm definitely don't watch it as much as I used to, but like horror is definitely something I try to incorporate regularly into what I watch these days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you're an easy or a hard person to watch movies with?
So I'm actually pretty easy to watch movies with. I can turn off the switch as the filmmaker watching a film. Some people, especially those, who come from like the film school mentality or work in the industry, some people just cannot turn off the filmmaker mindset, where they're constantly looking at the lighting, looking at the lens choices, looking at how, they used a Steadicam for this shot, or, they must have used a dolly for this shot. Constantly picking elements out of it and analyzing what the tools were to make the scene happen. I can turn that off.
Yeah, for sure.
And watch a movie for what it is. I can watch it for the story and the performances and be totally disengaged from the technical side of things. It's very tough though. especially
It's really hard,
with what we
yes.
do, because we're trained to look at, how did they put this scene together? And you're analyzing, oh, well, they must have done, like a covolite over here, or they must have put a like a Kino tube as a hair light up there, type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty easy to watch movies with.
I think I am now. I didn't used to be. Like, I remember when I first started film school, everything was so fresh in my brain. It was really difficult to watch movies with my family because I was very difficult because I would just pick apart everything. Like, a good example is, like, when I remember sitting down to watch After Earth with my family. Because, again, big M. Night Shyamalan family. We all love M. Night Shyamalan. And I'm watching this movie and I'm just like, oh my God, this does not make sense narratively. Like, why is Earth so, like, because it's like, sorry, I'm trying to articulate. It's a really like cinematography is really fun. They shot it in a really beautiful location, but that's the problem because like why did they leave Earth in the first place if Earth was so toxic and like how what I mean? So anyway, I got hung up on that, and my mom's just sitting there like I just want to hang out and watch like Will Smith like beat up some aliens. You know what I mean? That's all I'm here for. I don't know, like and I'm just, so now I think I think I finally figured out how to turn off that part and just like enjoy a movie with my family now. So that's good. But
all you have to do is watch the Oscars for Will Smith to do something like that. So.
Oh my God, yeah.
Are we bringing that up right now?
Hard to believe that was a year ago, actually.
Me neither.
Wow.
Yeah. Little less than a year, but basically a year, yeah.
We were on the road, actually.
No, we were like getting off the plane in Nashville. Yeah,
That's
and I was
right.
there. Yeah, I was there for that one. Yeah, that was bonkers. Because Donnie was like, oh, did you hear what happened at or see what happened at the Oscars yet? And you had mentioned something about like, oh, did so-and-so director win? And he's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
That's exactly what it is.
I remember that.
All you had to do is open your phone, and then every article
literally
was talking about it.
I think a security lady had to like tell us to keep walking because we were like huddled in the middle of the hallway watching it.
Yeah. So
that was
anyways, we can move beyond that.
Yeah, that's a whole
That's
thing.
in the past.
I could talk for hours about
Literally.
that because it's very interesting. But I would say I'm very easy because I do pick apart movies, but I don't say anything about it while we're watching the movie. And I'm not on my phone. I can't stand people that are just on their phone while they're watching a movie and they're like not paying attention. And if they ask me at the end of it, they're like, all right, what did you think? I will be very honest and say everything I liked and didn't like about it. But while I'm watching the movie, I can just sit there and just absorb it and be like, yeah. Or no. But I won't be vocal about it while the movie's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's interesting if you're watching a bad movie, you want to figure out what makes it bad.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
And then I analyze that stuff.
I try not thinking too hard about that stuff. If it's bad, I just try to move on from it. Not let it bother me so much.
Now we get into the meat of it.
Oh, man.
It's happening.
The reason we're all here. What do you notice in movies now that you didn't used to? Could be production design, could be art, could be makeup elements, could be directing choices.
Oh, Ethan.
Lighting choices.
I can tell you.
Yeah. I figured you
number one thing, continuity errors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I actually pay attention to those a lot, too. That's a good point, yeah.
Continuity errors, that's probably the number one thing that I notice more than anything. The classic example is it was the final season of Game of Thrones, and it was the coffee
They
cup
edited that out of like the one on
situation.
HBO Max,
Yeah.
I think. They edited it out, but like I wasn't watching it as it happened, but I can't imagine. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you're watching it, and then at the bottom of the screen, you see what looks to be a Starbucks coffee cup, and then you go to, like, say, the wide or the master shot, and it's gone. And then you're saying to yourself, did I just see what I thought I just saw? And then in today's day and age, with digital technology, with continuity errors, you can go back and easily correct them. But in the olden days, you didn't have that luxury, you know?
For sure.
So that's the number one thing I've especially with older films. You can see so many continuity errors with older films.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
You know, especially when it comes to lighting. Like lighting continuity is a big one for me, and that still happens in modern films too.
Yeah.
You know, you might have a wide shot that's, especially if it's a night. A wide shot at night, you have a character kind of walking through the woods. You have soft moonlight coming through the trees type of thing. Then you go to a close up, and then all of a sudden that soft moonlight is turned to hard edged moonlight, separating them from the background type of thing. And then it's just like, and then you go back and forth editing wise between the wide and the tight. And then it's just completely jarring in terms of the styles of how the wide compared to the close up was shot. So that stands out to me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
I think the thing I notice in movies now that I didn't used to is pacing, especially just as an editor and like just thinking about it. I think my biggest peeve is when I'm watching something and it feels like they're cutting every 2 seconds. I just can't. Like a good example, sometime last year, I can't remember when, I think it was hanging out with my sister or something, but we just threw on Jungle Cruise on Disney Plus, and it just bugged me so much. Like all the conversations were just like cut, and I couldn't focus on it. It was I obviously reaction shots are beneficial, but you don't need to go back and forth. It was so fast. Like the longest shots were like the CGI establishing shots, and like that was like it. Every other shot was like lasted 2 seconds, like longest. It was just disorienting, and just like I couldn't pay attention to the conversation because I was just like, you're going too fast. Just stop. You can leave it for a minute. Like you don't have to cut out every 2 seconds. So that was like a big one, and I was just like, oh my god, it just felt so unnecessary too. So that was I don't even think I finished it because I was just like, I'm just gonna like take a nap while this is happening. I can't look at the screen anymore. There's too much happening. Yeah, that's a big one for me. Just pacing. Like you can let things sit. I know like sometimes people think that you just want to keep the audience engaged as much as you can, but you can just let things sit sometimes. Like that's fine. Like that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. That's a good one too. So the thing I notice is directors' choices, why they do certain things. And I have a couple examples. In Manchester by the Sea, and very, very scattered parts of the movie, there is one instance where like some extras or like a prop or some piece of the set design like goes wrong. Like when the ambulance guys come to pick up the bodies out of the burned house, and they're trying to extend their stretcher, they can't get it to extend, and everything in the film just stops and focuses on them doing this for like 15 to 20 seconds.
Right.
And normally you'd be like, why am I watching this?
Okay.
But it's like this consistent theme of no matter what you do, nothing is going to go right. That's not a happy movie, by the way. I don't recommend watching that movie if you're in a bad headspace. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's
a bummer.
It's a bummer of a movie. But it's just like that constant theme of like failure, like you can't fight it, you can't beat the depression type thing. Like that's one example. Another one is It Follows, and I talked about this in the Halloween podcast with the season changes throughout that entire movie, day by day. That is a different season.
Interesting. I never noticed that.
In one scene, she is in her pool in a just full-on swimsuit, just like doing that. And next day, it is fall. They have scarves on. They have jackets. They're wearing jeans. And then the day after that, it's summer, and they have tank tops and shorts on.
Huh.
Like I know in the Halloween episode you did say it was time ambiguous, and I remembered some of that, but I didn't even notice the seasons.
Yeah, the season one.
The seasons also. Yeah,
yep, that's the one I did not talk about.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Because they constantly want the audience to be like, "Why does this movie feel wrong?" And it's because nothing is consistent.
Interesting. I may have to give that a second chance.
You
I
should.
did not like it the first time I saw it. I thought it was a great concept. I just didn't think it was executed very well. If you take that concept, give it to a different director, I'm curious how they would have handled the movie.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine who's a filmmaker, it's one of his favorite horror movies. And what you just pointed out, that's actually a great director style right there. I never would have noticed had you not pointed that out.
It's fantastic. Because, of course, you don't notice it right away. I didn't notice it when I first watched it. I was just like, why do I feel weird?
No, it's weird. I just feel weird. Yeah, I definitely want to rewatch it. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
I just remember there's some bad lighting in that movie. There's a warehouse scene where the lighting's actually pretty bad.
What's something that everyone loves to see in movies that you don't like to see in movies?
I think, and it's not always, but sometimes too much improv is a bad thing. And that might be a hot take because I know everyone loves improv and it can be great and it can add a lot to a movie and it can, show off an actor's skills or whatever. But there's a limit. Like I remember like a couple Christmases ago, my boyfriend and I we're trying to watch new Christmas movies and we watched Why Him? We also just watched Breaking Bad. So we were like, Brian Cranston, this is great. Okay. Oh my God, there are so many lines where they just take a bit and they keep going and going and going. I'm like, it's not that funny, my dude. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's just me, and I think that style of movie just is not my thing. So I think that's my hot take. Something I really don't like to see is just too much improv. Yeah. Like you can give your actors freedom, but there's a limit. Like I would have cut most of that stuff out if like certain actors were going on for way too long. So
yeah,
isn't that what made Anchorman 2 bad?
Yeah,
I have not seen it.
That also had a lot of improv. Yeah. You're right. That one's rough. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, it has to do with or I wouldn't say unmotivated, unnecessary use of score.
Okay.
Oh.
Unnecessary use of score. Mm-hmm. I love film scores. I own so many soundtracks. But there are films that have a score or have a music overlay just for the sake of having a music overlay. Just to have it there to kind of fill this void, whether the void is silence or you're trying to accentuate some kind of emotion that's happening during the scene. But when it's forced, that's where I have a problem.
Sure.
Forced scores, especially if the score doesn't hold a tune. That's the thing about scores I like.
That's a very good point.
I like scores that hold a tune because the tunes always, they carry with it emotion. Like, especially certain points of a film might have a score or a melody that plays, and then it comes back in at a different point in the film, but it's coming back to serve a purpose. A lot of movies nowadays, and too many to name, just have a score there just to fill the void or just because they feel like they have to have a score.
Yeah. And sometimes, maybe not for whole movies, but sometimes for like certain scenes, like silence can add a lot. Like if it's a really emotional scene, like sometimes just not having music can like be very, I don't know, it can cause like an emotional impact. So like sometimes, obviously like music is great, but like, yeah, like sometimes, yeah, I agree with you basically.
Yeah, music's great. It's a huge part of the filmmaking and film going experience, but if it's just there as wallpaper, it just doesn't work. And you can feel that too.
Yeah.
You can feel how unauthentic a movie is when it has just a wallpaper score to it.
That's why a lot of people had issues with Rise of Skywalker, because it would play so many themes for characters that was not the theme for. Or
That's a good point.
Or play like the Force theme when nothing Force related was happening.
That's a good point.
Oh, that's really interesting.
It would, yeah. I mean, even the Hobbit movies, it played the Nazgul theme when Thorin is fighting Azog.
Yeah, okay.
And you'd be like, why is a Nazgul theme playing right now?
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
It's so forced because they're like, oh, this piece of music sounds great. And it's like, yep, that's not the purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A good, I will go back to Top Gun Maverick actually for this one. That film utilizes score perfectly. It takes the classic themes from the first movie, intertwines in the new themes from the current movie, and they're played out in emotional beats throughout the movie where appropriate. It's not just wallpaper. It's there to serve a purpose. So that's, for me, that's the most contemporary example I can think of when it comes to using music appropriately in the right places for the right emotional tone.
Do your friends or family have high expectations for your movie taste?
No, my family or friends don't care. They don't care. They're not that impressed by it. But I think I threw that question in because I was curious about you guys, honestly. But yeah.
I would say about the same.
Okay.
They know they can rely on me if they haven't seen something that I have or if they need a recommendation. But they know that my taste is so different from a lot of theirs that it's pretty...
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty whatever.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I have pretty eccentric tastes. So If somebody asks me for my recommendation, they know what they're going to get.
Nice.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Fair. Yup.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, right.
How do you recommend movies and shows to people who don't work in this industry or aren't cinephiles?
It depends on the person, but like I really try to take the person into account. Like if I'm talking to friends or family or something and I saw a movie that I really like, I'll probably mention it, but I'll also make a point of being like, I really love this movie. It was so good, but I'm not going to recommend it for you because you hate horror movies, for one example. But like a good example too is like, I would never recommend my sister like a horror movie, but like she loves like low stakes, cozy, just, oh, sorry, Boss Baby. I keep hitting Boss Baby.
Bro, Boss Baby's getting abused.
I've never recommend her a horror movie, but when she told me, oh, I love like cozy, just like low stakes stories, contemporary stories, I was like, Heartstopper. You need to watch Heartstopper right now. And she's rewatched it like 5 times. So that one I'm proud of. But I think I just really try to take the person into account and like what they like and stuff.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the person.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If I have seen something and I just think it is magnificent, I don't care if it's horror, drama, if it's a war film, if it's a good film in general. I feel anybody can find value from it. So if you're not huge into, say, horror films, for example, but there's just a horror film that comes out and it just blows you away. Even those who aren't into the genre, I will still recommend it to them just to have them kind of branch outside of what they would normally watch, because they might find value in it that they didn't realize that they would find.
That's
So
a good point.
for me, I'm the kind of the opposite. It's like I know what their preference is, but I'm gonna have them go outside of their comfort zone and experience this, because they're bound to find something in it that they didn't think they would find in it of any value, and come away with it. So nothing's off limits. If there's a good movie, I will recommend it no matter what the genre,
Yeah.
and no matter what your interests are, because you might find something out of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm about the same way, I'd have to say. And I'll be like, honestly, you probably wouldn't like it, but I'll still rave about the movie to them.
Yeah,
Right.
And then I'll be like, if you want to check it out, go for it. But I'll be like, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't enjoy it if you like saw it without knowing what it was.
And that's happened to me. I've had, colleagues, friends, family talk about certain films, and it's just not stuff I would normally watch. But then they would point something out, and it's like, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll get something from it. And sure enough, there have been countless examples where I go into something expecting not to like it and come out completely blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've yet to see an animated film, though, that would do something like that for me.
Puss in Boots 2.
I think Into the Spider-Verse for you.
Yes, the new Puss in Boots
It's
is a
number
sequel.
2?
It's a sequel.
I thought it was...
We were just talking about
I know, but we need to...
You already forgot.
Here's the thing. I thought it was number 3. I thought there was a trilogy.
No, this is... The first
Are you
Puss in
sure?
Boots movie was like 10 years ago. And like
I swear it's number 3.
No, I mean, I don't blame you because it has been a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Was there a show?
Maybe there was a show. I don't remember where it would be on, but that might have been what it was. There might have been a show of some
We've
kind.
seen a lot of Puss in Boots. That's
Well,
the thing.
he was in 3 Shrek movies.
Yeah.
He was.
He was in
Yes.
Shrek 2, Shrek 3, Shrek Forever After.
I haven't seen
Some
any
holiday
of those.
specials.
Holiday
Yes, a couple
specials.
holidays,
Everybody's
of
looking at
course.
me.
Maybe that's why I think there may have been more than
Maybe.
the one sequel.
Liberty likes Shrek Forever After.
Just shakes her head.
She likes a scene from it, I know.
Okay. I just wanted to settle that debate because we were talking about that.
Of course.
Well, that's great because we're about to wrap this up
Yes.
Oh, are we?
with one final question.
What's that?
Excited for this one.
And Dana might know your answer. Maybe I don't. If you had the chance to work on one movie, any movie, I don't care what time it was made, when you were born, what movie would that be?
This is an easy one.
Yeah.
And this is a little old school, too.
Oh, really?
This is one of my favorite films in terms of cinematography. Actually, I would say it's probably, for me, personally speaking, the best shot film. And to have been a fly on the wall on set, to have seen it being shot, that movie is Barry Lyndon. From the great Stanley Kubrick.
I was hoping you would say Barry
Yeah.
Lyndon.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall just to see how that was shot.
Yeah, interesting.
So
That's cool.
Have you seen Barry Lyndon?
I think I watched it in film school. I can't remember much about it. I think most of it went over my head, if I'm being honest, but I'm sure it's very good. I probably was just like, there's a lot happening right now.
If you ever read a cinematography breakdown of that movie, it's crazy. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
Visually, it's unbeatable.
unbeatable. Yep.
Nice.
And I think we've talked about it on the podcast too. It's like
Probably,
each image is like a painting.
Yeah.
And just to have seen how they shot that.
Yeah.
Like you can see whatever behind the scenes documentary you want, but to have been actually there watching them
Yeah.
actually do it with that technology.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Mine is a newer one, but if I got an opportunity to edit Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think that would be a blast.
That would be cool.
Like, it's just such controlled chaos. I think at times a little more chaos than controlled chaos, but I just like the idea of like having all this like wild, like, I don't know, just all of these different timelines, alternate universes, and just trying to make something that semi makes sense. And like, just, I don't know, just controlled chaos. I think that'd be really a fun story to cut together. I think that would be a blast. That would be mine.
Cool.
I wanted to be on the Revenant.
Oh, that's a good. I haven't even seen that movie, but I know what you mean.
I want to just go to remote Alaska, Canada region, and South America, and just do things you would never believe that you could do.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good choice.
And they shot that pretty much all natural.
Yeah, it's all natural lighting. Yeah, I heard.
They really could not afford to bring much in terms of any sort of lights with them.
They were out in the middle of like nowhere, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Yeah,
filming that.
Yeah,
wild. Yeah, I need to watch that movie so bad. I've heard it's amazing. I've got to get on that one.
I'll say you can borrow it if you want. I have it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, Leo,
bring it in.
Leo won
right,
his
sweet.
Best Actor Oscar for that one.
Yes, I remember that because like it was like a meme on the internet that like, oh my God, Leo's got to get an Oscar, and he finally got an Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below and say tell us what movie you would have wanted to work on if you had the chance.
Yep.
Please.
Please.
Pretty please. We need audience interaction.
We need fans. we need a fan base.
And if you would like to sponsor us, we're
if anyone's
Also,
sponsoring,
please.
We got Shure mics, we got aperture lights, we got light panels. I mean, we got the we got the Nan lights. We're shooting on Canon cameras and glass. I don't know what brand this table is, but
just flips it over and like.
But I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Dana, I know you got to get going, so I'm not going to keep you.
Well, you know what that means, right?
Oh no! Oh God, not again!
Oh my God.
Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Oh my God.
Dana, I'll see you on the other side.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Well, okay. That happened again.
Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on the porch. We're releasing these. Actually, I don't need to tell you this because this will have come out after an episode where I explain it. We'll see you next time on the porch. Thanks for joining us. And, why don't you get off our porch now?